Now for the week 6 recaps, first we had me versus Steve. Pretty good showing by my team for the first time this year. Still no Michael Thomas, so that's reassuring. Ryan Tannehill carrying me to another win along with Kenyon Drake late Monday night. That was a big boost. Brandon Cooks, great game, and also Young Ho Koo with a 20-point game as my kicker. Just a good week. And Steve unfortunately had a little bit of downplay from some of his big stars, and only 121 falls to me. I go move to 3-3. Steve moves to 2-4. Next we had Paul versus Joe. Unfortunately, Paul loses. Only 116 this week, moves to 1-5. But Lamar Jackson did have a good week for the first time in a while, and some of his players are coming along, like Swift there. Joe moves to 3-3 though. He's in the hunt. Next we have Craig versus Stan, 118 to 104. Pretty low scoring here. And the main key here was Derrick Henry for Craig, 43 points. He had 200 plus yards, bunch of touchdowns. Just picking up where he left off last year. Craig moves to 5-1. Stan falls to 2-4. Next we had Beef versus Slice here, 128 to 104. Slice stays undefeated, 6-0. Only team in the league to do so, but look out because this week could be an upset. But his team looked all right. 130, around 130 is a pretty good score, and that's about his standard. And last we had Spoots versus G, and only 100 points from Spoots. There was a lot of trash talk here, but G comes out on top, 122. Kyler Murray, number one quarterback in the league, and good pickup of the Bucks D for G, 19 points, powers him by Spoots, and puts everyone to shame with drafting all those running backs. All right, here are the standings through 6 weeks. Slice on top at 6-0, the only undefeated team, and looking like he could stay that way. Followed by Craig at 5-1 and G at 4-2. Those teams are trying to solidify their playoff spots, and looking like they could. Next we have Joe, Beef, and me at 3-3, rounding off the top 6. And here are the next two at 2-4. Steve and Stan. They're trying to get back up in the winning category and fight for those last two playoff spots. Maybe get a little win streak, but everyone is trying to do that. And the last two, Spoots and Paul, 1-5. Not out of it, but it's going to be a struggle.
Welcome to Tea Time this week. I'm your host, Paul Garozzo, and I couldn't be more enthused to be here, giving you the wise words of wisdom that I've learned through a week of fantasy football. I'll try to keep it short this week because, let's be honest, it's a long video, and I want to keep the viewer at home fully engaged for the 10-minute long. This week, it's catch-up week. It's catch-up week. Make sure you catch up. This is a make or break for playoffs. And if you're like myself, 5-1 on top of the league doesn't really apply to you. But it's a catch-up week for all of those who've dropped points or dropped wins and losses, or mostly losses that they didn't want to have. Make sure you catch up. Last minute waiver wires, always smart. Remember, second guess your lineup. Every good fantasy player second guesses their lineup. That's this week's tea time. Catch up.
All right, now for the week 6 start of the week. There was really no clear winner here, but honorable mention is Craig. I mean, this is really as a player you wouldn't start, but Derrick Henry, 43 points, won in the week single-handedly. And then Bucks D for G, 19 points. It's a great start. And then 2 for me were Brandon Cooks and Young Ho Koo. 20 points from Koo, 21 points from Cooks. Cooks, not a typical starter, but coming around maybe. So that's the start of the week.
All right, again, everyone's favorite segment. I've hacked into the system. You're never gonna find me. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. It's gonna be a short one today. Boomer's Bonehead moves of the week. Couldn't find any. Everyone's doing a pretty good job. Some teams suck, but people are doing good jobs with plays. But the closest one we have, he hasn't been on it before, so it's a first timer. Beef. That's right. Beef. You're out with this week's Bonehead. If you put A.J. Brown in, and if you put Jimmy Graham in, you would have won by fractions of a point. Bonehead moves right there. And I knew I didn't have that much, so I had to come up with a really good joke for today. And I did it. I come up for the best burn against beef. And here it comes. Here it comes. Beef, you think you're Kelly's roast beef, but you're not. Kelly's roast beef here. X through it. You think you're Liberty Bell roast beef, but you're not. Liberty Bell, X through it. Know what you are? Beef. You are an Arby's roast beef. Put an Arby's sign right on the tip of the finger. That's you. Arby's. You're our Bonehead of the week. That's all I got this week, guys. See you next time. Beef up your security. I'm getting really good at hacking. Ooh.
Here are the Week 7 previews. We have me versus Spoots to kick it off. Heavy projection for Spoots of 149 to my 117. Another tough hit this week. Michael Thomas pulls up lame with a hamstring injury. But I'm going to power through. I have some replacements in line ready to go. Projections are BS, and I'm taking myself in this one. Next, we have Joe versus Stan, Battle of Franciscans. Work together, and this one could get heated. But Stan, unfortunately, only 0.8 from Devonta Freeman on Thursday night, and Joe got a little boost there from Engram. I'm going to have to go Joe in this one. Sorry, Stan. Next, we have Slice versus Paul. This is one of the biggest matches of the week. Slice, undefeated. Paul, 1-5. And Paul could pull this off. This is the week of Slices. Everyone's on bye. People are hurt. Not looking good for him this week. Paul gets a big boost from Boston Scott on Thursday night. He gets some good pickups this week. This is the week. Go, Paul. This is an upset. Book it. Next, we have G versus Craig. And Craig projected 140. He's always been a high projection this year, and his team's very good. And I think he's going to pull it off. Moves to 6-1. G falls to 4-3. Last, we have Steve versus Beef. 2-4 versus 3-3. A little rivalry here. Steve's name is about beef. If you didn't know, if you want to ask. But this is a good matchup here. 130 to 125. Steve looking for a bounce back. I think I'll take Steve in this one.
Welcome back to Week 7 with Beef's Buy or Sell. I am your host, Beef. I know, this is your favorite segment of the show. What else is new? So yeah, getting right into it. Starting off, Ezekiel Elliott, over 0.5 fumbles. We're going to sell. 2 fumbles last week. Don't think he does it again. I think we're safe to say we're clear there. Next, we got the Buffalo Bills defense with more than 1 turnover and a touchdown. I'm going to sell this because I believe it's only the defense was the question, not special teams. So it would have to be a pick six or a fumble recovery for a touchdown. We're going to sell it here. I think the Jets definitely do have some turnovers because the Jets stink. Yes, Boots, they stink, and they're the worst team in the NFL. But I'm going to sell the touchdown. Next, we got Robbie Anderson, over 71.5 yards. We're going to buy that. Robbie Anderson's been pretty good this year. I think he's averaging about 6 to 7 targets a game, and he's more of a long ball threat, so we're going to go over on that, 71.5. Lastly, we got Derrick Henry, over 100 yards against my Pittsburgh Steelers. Sell that. Sell it. No way. Titans might win the game, but I don't think Henry runs for 100 yards. I don't think they let him, and I think the Pittsburgh defense is pretty damn good. So we're gonna sell that. Thank you, and I will see you next week.